Sit up and
Good
lock in,
morning,
boys.
good afternoon, and good evening to you wherever and whenever you are joining us. Welcome to our latest edition of What Caught My Eye, or WCME Sports. As always, I am your host, the coach Nick Vesci, joined by the boy Stephen Vesci.
What up?
And the man Stephen Comlow.
Hello.
Hello. If you're new to us, we like to think of ourselves as the sports show for sports fans about sports. We like to focus on what happens inside the lines of competition, as opposed to the outside noise that so often dominates our sports rhetoric these days. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you follow us on all of our socials on X, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitch at WCME_sports. Our episodes drop every Wednesday at noon on Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. And all this information can be found on our website, WCMEsports.com. Now, without further ado, we get into our top catch for the week, and we're going to stay with the playoffs, the NHL and NBA playoffs. They're in full swing. We're still in the first round. A couple series have ended. Some series are on their way out. A lot of them are in the thick of it, in the heat of it. So we may be buckled in for another week or so with this first round. So we'll start in the NHL. We will. What do you want? Start Eastern or Western Conference?
I was going to say West because they were all, up until yesterday, they were all tied.
Yeah, I had the West as well. So suck it, boy. You're wrong. You're wrong.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Went West.
That's
Here's
just
a
West
lesson.
Patrick.
So, Stars Avalanche. The Stars are up 3-2 in that series. However, in Game 4, Gabriel Landeskog, the captain of the Colorado Avalanche, scored his first goal since June 20th, 2022. That's almost 3 full years. As Colorado was able to beat Dallas 4-0 in that game to even the series at 2. But in Game 5,
he was the number one star, wasn't he, for that one?
I would think so. It's remarkable.
He had 4 or 3 points.
Yeah, in Game 5, the Stars' offense erupted, won 6-2. So the Stars again are up 3-2 in that series. But you're right, going back to Landeskog, it is remarkable. His injury was one. I don't know what it is, like very weird, complex injury, but it's one of those that the people who've had it before never come back and play another game. And it took him 3 full years almost to get back. And he comes out there, scores a goal, and by some metrics, the last couple games that he's been in, he's been the best player for the Avalanche, the most effective player on their team, which is just, again, remarkable for a guy who's, he skated 2 games at the AHL level for their AHL team in Colorado, and now 3 games in this series. So a guy who's skated maybe 5 games in 3 years, coming off a debilitating injury, to do this is nuts.
In the playoffs, too, that game, the game doesn't seem to be moving fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Usually when you're out for that long a time, even just coming back to a regular season at the highest level, the game's probably moving insanely fast. To come back in the playoffs, come back then, that's pretty incredible.
It really is. Moving on, Knights versus the Wild, or the Vegas Golden Knights against the Minnesota Wild. That series is tied at 2-2. In Game 4, however, Ivan Barbashev had the game-winning goal in overtime. It's his first career playoff OT goal, as Vegas was able to win that crazy back-and-forth battle to take Game 2 in Minnesota. Game 4 in Minnesota, excuse me. Even that series of 2 games apiece. I believe they're playing later tonight, right, Comlo? This is recording on Tuesday evening.
Yes.
I believe they're playing later tonight. Again, out west, staying there, the Jets and the Blues, they're tied at 2-2. We said we want to start in the West. That's why I agree with you, Tom. All these series were 2-2.
That's my favorite series so far.
That's an interesting series because not every game has been that close. We've seen Connor Hellebuck, who we've talked about at length. He's arguably the greatest American goalie of all time, believe it or not, when you look at what he's accomplished. And he's likely going to win the Vezina, has a very good chance to win the Vezina and the Hart, right? Hart is MVP, to win those both in this year. And he's continuing to struggle in the playoffs. I thought I saw some split that they showed, his playoff career save percentage is .870. If that, it might even be lower. That's horrendous, by the way. And his regular season one is probably .910 to .920, something around there, .915. So that is a precipitous drop. And in a lot of ways, I think what happens with him is he puts so much pressure on himself because yes, the Jets have had a good team and they do have a good team, but do they have the best team around him
No.
compared to some of these other teams in terms of firepower? Like even that Stars Avalanche series, I'd say the Stars and Avalanche, in my opinion, have better teams out there on the whole. So I feel like Hellebuck is just pressing. It's all.
But he looked good until the series shifted to St. Louis.
He did, but he didn't look that great. Right? We're talking about probably, in a lot of people's opinions, the best goalie on the planet. Right? And then,
Yeah,
and then
but
you look at this, you're like, really?
But there's tangibles there that you can, like, I'm sure there's metrics and stuff you can look at. I mean, like, I think one of the reasons, and like an obvious one for, guys like us that know the sport, when you dissect the home versus away ice, it's not just, playing in our barn versus their barn. It's setting your lineup cards, setting your lines out there, face-offs. Everything is different when you're home versus away. And so I think that's why I think that's one of the reasons you see that precipitous drop in when the series shifts back to St. Louis. I mean, and we're not just seeing it there; we're seeing it in every game in the West. And I think every Eastern team dropped at least one away game. So I mean, there's certain intangibles you have to think about when you're talking about statistics, right? And
Yes,
home
I
and
mean,
away
it's-
makes a
it's-
huge difference.
It's now becoming a
A
like
trend.
stigma.
Like
Yeah,
there's
Oh
trend.
yeah, no, I'm
like,
sure
there's
I'm sure
this
there's
isn't-
mental hurdles he has to get over.
Because
Don't
there's
get me
a
wrong, I
decent-
agree
it's
with you on that.
I mean,
There's a decent sample size. Yeah.
numbers wise, just like stats, just looking at his stats and going, he's now becoming. We're talking about this with Aaron Judge too, in baseball. Like the regular season's unbelievable, but you got to show up in the postseason, right? And it's sometimes you go, well, the defense hasn't been good, and it hasn't in these games in St. Louis, and he's gotten some bad breaks, but there's also goalies that step up their game in the postseason, and like Jordan Binnington, for example, that comes out of nowhere and goes off in the
Or
biggest moments.
I mean, going back to my boy Henrik Lundqvist, who at a lot of times
True,
did
yeah,
not have a lot of
did
team
not-
around him.
he-
Did not.
yeah.
It would carry the team, and I think that's what Steve is kind of getting and alluding to is that when you're as good as Hellebuck is, right? The expectation is you have the ability to carry a team regardless of
Yes.
how good that team is far in the playoffs. And that when you're not doing it, it's more glaring than if like a Scott Wedgwood struggles, right? Or an Anthony Stolarz in Toronto, who's been really good, by the way. And we'll get to that soon. But it's more glaring when you are supposed to be the dude, and guys in the past like a Dominic Hasek, another example, who's the dude, have carried teams, and I think that's why it sticks out, right? And other, I'm like a Vasilevsky, who Vasilevsky's I think he's always had a better team around him than Hellebuck has, but still Vasilevsky showed up, and without him, they don't win back-to-back titles a few years ago, right? So I think that's
But I also think that goes back. I mean,
It comes from.
you start comparing him to Stanley Cup winning goalies. I mean, then you also have to compare the teams, right?
Lundqvist never won a Stanley Cup.
Yeah,
Hasek,
Lundqvist never-
did Hasek win one with Detroit? I think that might have been the only time he did. But I'm more talking about those Buffalo Sabres teams that were garbage that he carried, right? So that's what I'm talking about is, there's examples of guys who are, comparable to what Hellebuck is, who accomplished comparable things what Hellebuck's accomplished, who showed out when the lights were the brightest, and we're not seeing that yet. And it's got to be something mental because obviously he is so good. You don't show up like this 82 games across seasons after seasons and not be that good. So maybe it's one of those we talk about again. Toronto, we'll get to them here in a second, but that mental hurdle, can they jump over that? And once they get over that, maybe we'll see like the tension relax. Maybe we'll see him be Hellebuck and carry them. But I think this is a crucial series or crucial game. Obviously, Game 5 is always, if when you're tied 2-2, always crucial. But crucial series just for the trajectory of the Jets, maybe possibly long term.
Yeah.
Moving on. Last one in the West, Kings Oilers. that's been a wild. A lot of goals scored in that series. That series is also tied 2-2. Thanks to Evan Bouchard, who's for the Oilers, who scored 2 third-period goals, including the game-tying tally with 29 seconds left to force overtime. And then Leon Draisaitl netted the game winner as Edmonton evened that series against the Kings at 2 apiece. Again, if that the Kings were in control of that game, let that slip. I think the other Oilers win, the Kings had a little bit of control and let it slip, if I'm not mistaken. But that's a fun series. I want to say the Kings and Oilers have met in the playoffs a lot recently. So you have these firepower going on here, and familiarity breeds contempt, and it's that's a fun series. The issue is it's on so damn late.
So late. Yeah, I do want to talk about the Oilers though, because I talked about this with Alabama basketball, comparing them to Ole Miss. Are the Oilers in that same level? Their offense is unbelievable, but are they a complete enough team to win the whole thing? I know
they're the opposite. They're the opposite of the Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets, great goalie, awful supporting cast. The Oilers are awesome supporting cast, crap goalie. I mean, Skinner at times doesn't look like he could stop a beach ball from.
He wasn't even out there. Who the hell was the guy they had? Calvin Picard? Is that who it was?
That's who it was. Yes, you're right. And he was out there for the games that they won, though, right?
I think so. He was out for that game 4. I believe Picard was the goalie, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, no, that I think has been their biggest Achilles heel. Like that, Skinner played well enough last year. He didn't play great, but well enough to allow them to get to the Stanley Cup final. In years past, whoever they've had in goal has been terrible. This year, you're seeing that.
But do they need? I mean,
the goal. You got to be good enough.
Unbelievable, but yeah, do they need how good's the defense? Is defense good enough?
They've got some good players, right? You got Bouchard, who's got a Bouch bomb, isn't that what they call it?
Yeah, the Bouch bomb, baby.
A slapper from downtown. Darnell Nurse, who do you know who his uncle is?
That's a name that we talked about last year. Darnell Nurse is awesome.
Darnell Nurse, I'll give you a hint. I'm loving it.
Donovan McNabb?
Donovan McNabb is Darnell Nurse's uncle, by the way.
But I think outside
we've lost the boy.
I think outside of those two names, and then maybe an Ekholm, there isn't really anyone else on there that you would know. But I mean, half of the D pairings, right? 3 out of the 6. But their defense isn't bad, and I think the nice thing about that team, and it's something Nick's talked about a lot when we've brought up playoff hockey, is that when it comes time for playoffs, you cannot rely on your defenders to be consistent goal scorers for you. You need your defenders to focus primarily on defending, and that's outside of the occasional Bouch bomb. That's pretty much what they do. They don't really send their defenders up to get involved because they're all big defensive defensemen and like powerhouses. Like there's some big scary dudes back there.
Yeah. Defense wins you games. Offense tells you by how much.
Yeah, their defense, it comes. It's not bad. It's not the best. There's a lot of other teams you take their defense. The issue is at the back end for the most part, in that you could argue they might be better off playoff wise if they took one subtraction from the forward area and added something to the defense. Like if they made some. But I believe they did trade for a defenseman this year, if I'm not mistaken, a decent guy who's along Ekholm's caliber. They have, but it's still
Klingberg.
They do have John Klingberg. He's been hurt
the
though.
Only thing, what happens a lot too in postseason.
He's an offensive defenseman.
Is offense offense can go quiet, right? Every now and then you have a bad offensive game or whatever. It can go quiet. So if you're relying on outscoring everybody constantly, that becomes tough. Defense never goes into a slump.
Yeah.
Right. Except, I guess goalies in hockey, maybe it's a little bit different.
Problem is that the Kings just look so good. I think that game for some reason, Darcy Kemper took a season off when he played for the Caps last year, and now he's back to the form that we saw him playing when he won with Colorado. I mean, the Kings have looked so good. I mean, the emergence. I mean, Quentin Byfield has looked awesome. Kopitar looks prime. You talk about the other guys like Kevin Fiala looks really, really good.
They got other guys
Kempe,
too.
Adrian Kempe
And
looked
Kempe's
good
very good.
too. I mean, they all look
They're deep.
very, very good.
They're deep. That's why I like LA's. They're so deep.
It's
And that all those
reminiscent of
guys are
like
really different. Right?
it's
It's not like they
reminiscent
have
of what
one
we
type of
talked
guy.
about with the Stars last year, where you have this core group of veterans who have been there and know how to win and know what it takes to perform in the postseason with a really strong young supporting cast.
Yeah. Do they have Warren Fogle? Is he on LA now?
Yes, you're absolutely right. Warren Fogle does play for
He's
LA.
a key guy in my opinion because he brings that physical presence, that Tom Wilson effect of like, he's going out there for a shift with his hair on fire, and yet he's skilled enough to make a difference offensively. Like he's not a Matt Rempe who's out there just to goon it up. But Fogle's a guy with experience who's very physical.
That's a guy who's like probably closer to the end of his career than the beginning. Like he's got to be around our age, right? He's got to be like what 30, 31, somewhere in there.
Probably, but he's the type of guy you need in the playoffs, right? And I think he's crucial to LA's success to free up the Fialas, the Kopitars, the Byfields.
Couldn't agree more.
Moving on to the East.
Before you move to the East, I didn't get a chance to slip this in there. Have you guys watched any of those? Like, actually, like, sat down and watched like any of the Colorado Dallas games?
A little bit.
So there's a guy who's been trolling Colorado's coach Bednar. Have you seen this, Nick? Yeah. Have you seen the guy who sits behind the bench and dresses as Jared Bednar?
How does he know what suit he's wearing?
I don't know, but it's so good. It's the exact same suit. The pocket squares look identical, like it's a prepackaged like one you get off the rack at Kohl's. Like it looks so good. I saw that I think it was last night, and I almost fell out of bed. I was laughing so hard.
What if, just to be devil's advocate, what if the Avalanche staged that for publicity's sake? That's why he knew what suit to wear.
It's fair.
Stick that in your pipe.
Yes, I'm going to let that one marinate.
Yep. Moving on to the Eastern Conference, the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Ottawa Senators. After the Leafs took games 2 and 3 in overtime to go up 3-0, Ottawa staved off elimination in Game 4 thanks to Jake Sanderson's OT winner. It's the first playoff win for the Sens since 2017, and it's the 23rd series to ever have 3 straight overtime games, as Toronto is up 3-1 there. They're playing, I believe, right now it's Game 5, so we are back in Toronto, I believe. Yep. So we'll monitor the situation there. The Capitals and the Canadiens. The Caps scored 4 unanswered third period goals, including the eventual game winner from Andrew Eatsbread or Mangiapane, with less than 4 minutes left to give the Caps a 5-2 victory and a 3-1 series lead. It literally that translates directly to Andrew Eatsbread.
We've talked about this before.
God, I hate you so much.
Why?
I was like,
read a book.
I was like, how is he fucking this dude's name up so bad?
Andrew eats bread.
Oh my gosh!
You don't believe me? Google Translate. It's a thing.
I understand. I put the two together. I understand it.
Yeah, that's serious. Oh my gosh!
What is pain?
But do you?
French bread.
I haven't been able to turn when those games are on. I haven't been able to like look away so much as to go to the bathroom or get another drink. I'm just glued, man. But I also like I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious, and their Game 3 loss I am like putting on me because I decided what I'm gonna go after work on Friday, and I'm gonna go and watch it with my brother up in Arlington, and I wasn't on my spot on the couch.
Son of a bitch.
The whole mojo was off. Don't get me wrong. Love hanging out with my brother. Love watching the game with him. We had fun. Grills a mean burger at Kevin. But I was like, oh my gosh, this is just unbearable. And that game got out of control.
Yes, it
I
did.
mean, the Canadians, I feel like, kind of exposed the Capitals in Game 3 there by just chirping it up and doing all this extracurricular stuff, and it got so bad and so like out of hand that Wilson and Anderson just go at it on the bench, and then Game 4, the refs come out and they are calling a tight game. I think that game had 6 interference penalties called, which is wild.
Well, I was to that effect. I thought since the first game of that series that the refs lost control. They lost
Yeah.
control of that series immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Because as much as you want to say, well, it's playoff hockey. If you look at the shit the Canadians have been doing to the Caps that whole series, you're not seeing that in any other series. Even like the attention that the Lightning Panthers series has gotten from like the hits from Ekblad
Yes.
and Kachuk. Those are the only isolated incidents. That's a rivalry, and you're not even seeing that shit there. You're not seeing it in Colorado, Dallas, which is a burgeoning rivalry. You're not seeing it anywhere else. You're not seeing it in Maple Leaf Senators, which is another rivalry. You're only seeing it from the Canadians, and to me, it's like
some of my friends at work who like they're like Pittsburgh fans, they're Maple Leafs fans, and like don't really pay attention to Capitals hockey that much. They came up to me today and they were like, "Dude, do the Canadians and the Caps hate each other?" Like, no, that's the crazy thing is no, we don't. We don't really have a history with that franchise.
But here's the thing: you don't have to have a history. The Canadians have the Canadians have a history of this. Going back for at least 15, 20 years, this is how their organization's been run. Every time they played the Rangers, it's the same bullshit. You get Brandon Prust out there doing some garbage thing with under the auspices of, well, it's playoff hockey. But no, that's just cheap, dirty shit.
It's like they're taking it back to like just the gladiator days of like when like Knuckles Nyland played for like Boston or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's violent and aggressive, and like kudos to the Caps and Spencer Carberry for just noticing that just glare in their window and ignoring it for Game 4 and just coming out and doing what they do and play 5-on-5 hockey.
Also, that was Tom Wilson knocks someone's head off,
obliterated
right away,
dude. Absolutely clean.
So
hit.
yeah, I've had in the last 24 hours, I've had to explain what charging is to so many different people because I've had so many people come up to me and just say Wilson's hit was dirty, he should be suspended and fined. Absolutely ridiculous. And
you say they're a little paper bitch, and
I mean, I want to, but I mean, like the educator in me just prefers to just answer their hatred with education and just try to just educate the ignorance out of them.
Nerd,
but like
summer reader.
And it makes me it like also frustrates me because that was everyone that knows hockey would tell you that was a series changing hit. Yes. That hit led to a crucial goal in the third period, and it forced not that I'm ever rooting for an injury. I wouldn't do that. Especially because I don't really
the Canadiens fans surely are.
No, I know. I saw that. They said that
Logan Thompson after he got injured.
They cheered and clapped when LT got hurt. There are people posting on Twitter saying Jack-Eye needs to go out there and just target Ovechkin. First off, I'll digress for a minute. First off, Ovechkin played against prime Dustin Byfuglien and Zdeno Chara. Do you think he's scared of that old washed-up pussy Jack-Eye? No, he's not. 2, do you think anyone on that team is going to let anyone step up to Ovi? No, I mean, we've heard Wilson get in Rempe's face in the past. Don't touch Ovi. Right? It's some old school goon stuff, and I appreciate that about Willie. But to get back to my point, that was not that I'm ever rooting for someone to get hurt. I don't mind Carrier as a player. I don't have an issue with his game, but I mean the fact that he got injured on that play, and now the Canadians for the rest of that game had to skate 5 defenders, so someone's getting double shifted. The announcers all series have been talking about what strong endurance and young engines the Canadians have, and so to have a moment, a period, a half a period, whatever, where people are having to double shift is enough to wear anyone down. I don't care how young and endurance based you are. Like that's a lot to be double shifting as a D pairing.
You know who I hate right now? Caulfield. Can't stand that dude.
I don't mind
He
him.
does. He does
I
have a little
respect.
pissant in him, but he is an excellent
He's
player.
very good. That's the
I
problem.
wish-
You don't hate people who aren't good.
He finds the quiet. He finds
That
the
I
quiet
hated.
ice.
I hate Dustin Pedroia, and he was garbage. So,
Shut the fuck up. You know he's a phenomenal player. Shut
oh,
up.
you get the hell out of here. There's
Let's
mean,
look up
Cole-
Dustin Pedroia's
Cole
stats.
Garbage.
Cole
Garbage.
Caulfield's an
Garbage
integral part of
MVP.
the success of that top line. You know, I mean,
Garbage MVP.
Craig Laughlin said it best. I think in like game 2 is Cole Caulfield finds the quiet ice,
Yeah,
and
I heard that.
the puck finds him, and when the opportunity comes, he's ready for it. I mean, I don't have any issues with that dude's game. Do I care for his like little whininess and stuff and like the extracurriculars? Absolutely not. But I mean, it's playoff hockey, you know, game recognized game.
I mean, the Caps
I
cannot dispose of this
My
garbage
pure
organization soon enough.
downright
That's a
Yeah.
garbage
hate you. God
organization.
damn it, do I respect you.
Garbage
Wednesday-
organization.
Wednesday at 7
Montreal.
o'clock. Let's put him to bed.
Because again, like I said, this is a trend. This isn't just the first time they've done this. This is how they, you know, the culture in their organization is this. This is the type of players that they recruit, that
When
they
was the last time they
sign.
won a
This
cup?
is how they coach. This is
Been a while.
what they do, and have been for most of our lives. They've been so bad because this type of shit doesn't work.
It
that we
goes
haven't
back to
noticed
that,
it.
like
Uh,
it goes back to like
So
what we saw
they can't
at Four
dispose of them
Nations.
soon enough. This is just garbage hockey, is what they're
It goes
playing.
back to what we saw at the Four Nations, you know, where the Canadians fans boo our anthem. You know, they boo our anthem. They cheer when Logan Thompson gets hurt. How many times have you seen the clip of Crosby getting just decked in the Winter Classic back in the day, and there wasn't anyone really cheering? I mean, it's a scary thing. Like I would imagine that had roles been reversed and Montembeault had gotten hurt in Capital One, the fans would have clapped when he got up and like cheered him off the ice. They wouldn't have booed him. They wouldn't have said that's what you get. They wouldn't have called for more injuries or like deliberate targeting behavior. You know what I mean? Like have some fucking class.
Yeah, like I said, the Caps can't get rid of these people soon enough. Moving on, the Hurricanes Devils series, that the Canes are up 3-1. I don't really have much on that because to me that seems like a series that's going to end sooner than later. That might be the
game
first
right.
series
The
over.
game right now is drunk. It was 4-4 in the second.
Yeah, Carolina was down 3-0 at the end of the first, came back to score 4 in the second. Devils put 1 up in the second. I mean, that's an absolute just slugfest.
The Devils have to win or they go home, right? So you have that desperation going there. The Devils said that series lost a lot of intrigue the second Jack Hughes got hurt several weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it's kind of...
It's sad. I hate the teams that the Hughes brothers play for it's more fun to watch when they're healthy. You know, we talked again around Four Nations when Quinn Hughes got hurt. That was detrimental to like the American team. It was detrimental to Vancouver, and now we're seeing the same thing with the Devils, right? I mean, the Hughes brothers are just impactful.
Yeah, they're great.
They're fun to watch.
I'd love to see them all on the same team. The way the Stalls, I think, for a little bit got that. Well, did they ever get all 3?
I don't think any team ever got all 3. The most
It was always
Carolina,
2. Right? Jordan and Eric were on the team for a little bit, and I thought at one point Mark was on a team with one of them.
I thought Mark and Eric linked up.
That's what I thought too. But it would be cool to see the Hugheses all together. Last series, the Lightning and the Panthers. Aaron Ekblad tied the score at 2 with less than 4 minutes to play in the third, and then Seth Jones scored the game-winning goal just 11 seconds later. And the Panthers went on to beat Tampa Bay 4-2 to take a 3-1 series lead. It was Seth Jones' second career playoff game-winning goal. The other one was in 2019 while with the Columbus Blue Jackets against these very same Tampa Bay Lightning. So again, Panthers up 3-1. There's been some controversy in terms of hits in this series. I don't buy. To me, a lot of the controversy is just we have to be outraged by something. As a society, we must be outraged. We cannot be okay with something. We have to find something to be upset about. If you're wrong, if you're not upset about something, that to me is all these hits. Like the Ekblad forearm. I still don't understand the full outrage. Yes, it should have been a penalty. I don't think he got called for penalty.
No, he did not.
I've been completely fine with the penalty. I'm fine with them saying playoff hockey. To say he should have been thrown out and suspended, I don't get it. Like he wasn't moving at a a quick pace. He literally just gave a forearm shiver and pushed the guy to the ground. And any
thought
injury Hagel sustained was because his head hit the ice, and that's not on
correct.
Ekblad unless you knock the guy out of the air. You push someone down, their head hits the ice.
The boarding penalty was dirtier,
which is what drew the suspension.
Correct.
Who was that? Was that Hagel who committed that hit?
That might have been.
Well,
I didn't think it was, but it might be. And then the Tkachuk hit. Well, I was fine with them throwing him out and having that be it. Giving him a 5-minute major. Toss him out of the game.
That's fine,
it was late. It was to send a message, but yeah, he didn't launch at the guy. It was
he didn't hit him in the head. He didn't do any of that.
He used his shoulder
right into his midsection.
In his midsection. The guy went down like I don't.
It's late. It's late, but it's a clean.
I
think
late, that Ekblad is also I think Ekblad is the victim of recency bias because he did just come off a 20-game suspension
for PEDs.
And so I think and so
I
think everyone's kind of watching him a little more closely, and like they've already made up their mind about him. Oh, he's like dirty piss, dirty player. You know what I mean? And so I think that's also, I don't think that anyone would ever come out and say it's a factor that's like within like the NHL or the NHLPA, but I think we could kind of assume that probably has something to do with it as well. Is that, well, he's a hot topic right now, so you know what, let's just handle this. And that's, I think, because he got 2 games for it.
For what?
Didn't
Aaron Ekblad get suspended?
No.
Are you sure?
He didn't get anything for
unless that just happened, but he shouldn't have gotten suspended for that. I just don't understand why that's I would love to hear our hockey expert Scott Griswold tell me why it's a suspended hit.
Aaron Ekblad suspended for 2 games. This came out an hour ago.
I don't understand it. Yes, should it have been a penalty? Sure. But he hits him high, but he doesn't hit him right in the face. He hits him like kind of shoulder blade neck area. He gives a forearm. I wonder if it's more of the hockey culture of if you take your hand off the stick and use it, that's like a non-negotiable. I wonder if that's more of it.
The Department of Player Safety used to put out videos explaining their rationale behind like big suspensions. I would love to see them break down what they're seeing, because I mean, like, how different could it be? Like, I don't think it's hard for us to put ourselves in the shoes of someone that's in the Department of Player Safety and kind of imagine what it's like to be on that side of things.
Well,
but I'm in the same camp as you, Nick. Like, could I see him being assessed a penalty for it? Yeah,
probably should have been.
But to come back after the fact and say this was so egregious that we're going to take you out for 2 games of a series that could swing back,
because PK Subban went nuts on ESPN, so now NHL has to go.
I have my own drama.
So he was not okay with that hit. He was
not okay with it.
There must be. I think the thing we're missing, and the only thing I can think of, is the fact that he took his hand off the stick and used that. Right? You don't see that a lot. That, again, we didn't play ice hockey, right? We've watched hockey our whole lives, played street hockey. Right? That's the only thing I can think of, is that is like one of those non-negotiable. Like, that is like a golden rule that you do not break. You do not take your hand off the stick and use it, right? Because all he do is hit him forearm up here, and so that's the only thing I can think of, is that in the hockey community, that is no. Like, that is a draw the line. That's one of those, you never ever do that. That's egregious, and because that's the only thing I could think of why that warranted a 2-game suspension. Because when I just saw it, I was like, oh, it's just a penalty.
Yeah, I feel like overall though, like, there's been so much complaining about everything in every one of these NHL games. Like, the refs are doing this, the refs are doing that. Like, what the fuck are we complaining about? Like, I saw a little cross check,
outraged.
A little cross check into someone's back as he cuts through the neutral zone or whatever, and people are complaining, how is this not a penalty? Like, because it's not not in the playoffs. It's not a penalty. I don't know why we all of a sudden forgot how NHL playoff hockey works, and that the tougher team usually wins, and this is how it goes. Like, I'm just so confused.
Have to be devil's advocate. You have to draw the line somewhere.
You have to draw the line somewhere. You can't let things get away from you,
like they did in the first 2 games of the Montreal Washington series.
Correct. But there's been way less skirmishes after plays. I feel like
so.
So I think
yeah.
looking at like, and obviously things look worse, I think, when you watch them in slow motion. If I'm putting myself in the shoes of player safety, Department of Player Safety, the issue that I would not create, but draw attention to is on Ekblad's approach, he moves his forearm up to brace himself, and because of the positioning of Brandon Hagel's head doesn't move. He doesn't carry forward into the hit, and it looks like in slow motion that Ekblad is coming up and starting to initiate the hit with his forearm / elbow in a contact to the head, and he doesn't make an apparent motion to alter his trajectory to avoid a shot to the
As
head.
he was targeting the guy and used a free arm to target him.
Correct.
I understand it. Again, if that's if that's something we're missing, or that's one of the like just straight cut and dry, you never take your hand off the stick to use it, then okay, suspend him.
I'll ask
Two
Griswold about
games,
it. We're
yeah,
gonna
2 games
record an
seems
episode this
harsh.
week.
Two
We're gonna,
games seems harsh.
especially after missing the first 2 games of the series. You know what I mean? But I'll make sure I'll jot that down and I'll bring it up to Griswold. We're in the midst of scheduling our second episode for this week.
You do that. That is what caught my eye hockey, WCME hockey, also found on all of our platforms, Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. That's with the captain. What's Griswold call himself?
We call him the captain.
The captain, Scott Griswold, and the man Stephen Comlow doing WCME hockey for
Captain,
that.
my captain.
Thank you. Moving on. Anything else hockey before we get to NBA? Dead air.
Go Caps.
Okay, thank you. NBA, we're going to start in the Eastern Conference. The Cleveland Cavaliers handed Miami its largest playoff defeat in franchise history to take a 3-0 series lead as Ty Jerome from
UVA
had 13 points and 11 assists. Those 11 assists are the most assists by a Cleveland player off the bench in Cleveland playoff history, by the way. Then in Game 4, Cleveland beat Miami down even more to give them, at that point now, their largest playoff defeat with a 55-point victory to clinch the sweep.
That's hilarious.
Yes. We talked about this last week, I think, when OKC beat down Memphis by 51. It was, I think, the 5th largest playoff defeat ever. So 55, I think, puts them, I think, tied for 2nd or 3rd. Remember, the largest one was 58 by the Minneapolis Lakers against the St. Louis Hawks and George Mikan time. And I think the Nuggets in 08 did that to New Orleans.
Did you see Ty Jerome when he was on the court? Cleveland was plus 88.
I buy that. I saw another set. Him and DeAndre Hunter from
UVA again.
They have of all the pairs of teammates that have played in a playoff game this year, like every combination of pairs of teammates, Hunter and Jerome have the highest efficiency rating, or like plus minus. Some said they have been the most effective pair of teammates in the entire playoffs, which is wild.
Just gotta watch that game time shot against Texas Tech.
Yeah,
that Jerome passed to Hunter
in 2019.
Dwayne Wade was giving props to Hunter, or not Hunter, Jerome. He was like, I don't know where this guy came from, but this dude's cold. Like, he's doing all this or whatever. And I'm like, yes, I know where it came from.
Iona Prep, right? The 92 combined points for margin of victory in games 3 and 4 are the most in a 2-game span in NBA playoff history. And the 122 point differential in the 4 games is the largest ever in a playoff series. So that's an ass kicking of epic proportions. Yeah. Moving on to Knicks Pistons. This has actually been a really, really good series to watch. Knicks Pistons. Even though the Knicks are up 3-1, this has been a kind of an old school series. Nice, good physical play, clutch shooting. I don't know if you watched Game 4. It was bonkers. But a couple notes here from that Game 4. Cade Cunningham became the first Piston since Isaiah Thomas to register a playoff triple-double. He became the first player since 97-98 to have 10 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 blocks in a quarter in a playoff game, doing so in the third quarter of that Game 4. And he became the third player ever to begin his playoff career with 4 straight 20-point double-doubles. The other 2 are Wilt Chamberlain and Oscar Robertson, by the way. However, Detroit still fell to New York 94-93, and that gave New York that 3-1 series lead. Jalen Brunson from
Virginia
Villanova.
Tech.
He's from Villanova.
Villanova had 32 points, 15 of those in the fourth quarter, and Karl Anthony Towns had 27, including a tough turnaround jumper on the baseline late and the go-ahead through with 46.6 seconds remaining to give the lead to the Knicks, and they wouldn't look back. The ending of that game, wild. You had some of the best shot making I've ever seen. It was literally back and forth. Brunson hit so many, as a lefty, going to his right, runners, right, over defenders somehow, at only whatever 6'1" that he is, if that. And just pure going that way. Karl Anthony Towns, again, that baseline turnaround was a phenomenal jumper. It was almost
when you're
over the backboard.
6'11" or whatever.
And then, well, I know that helps. Yes.
No, I mean, no one can stop it.
Well, I think the shot clock was winding down. Like, he had to take it. And then the step back 3 that he had, again, it was like he had to take it and just buried it. But the controversy came at the final closing seconds as Cunningham for Detroit pulled up for the potential game-winning 2. The rebound, there's a fight for the rebound with Josh Hart. The ball rolls all in the corner, and I believe it was Tim Hardaway picks it up and shoots it, and it appears that Hart, getting back up, bumps him. And there was a no call there, and the buzzer went off, and New York won 94-93. And that was the uproars that it should have been a call. And the NBA came out, and they said, the official said, we missed that. But if I'm being honest, and boy, maybe you want to pull this clip up and see it.
I saw it.
I really don't have a problem with the no call. Because it's a chaotic situation. Hardaway looks like he goes in to initiate the contact, to be honest with you. Right? So I don't have, it's playoff basketball. I don't have that big of a problem with that.
Again,
because they let a lot of stuff go in that series and in that game.
Correct.
But the complaining is, well, if it was Jalen Brunson, he gets that call all the time. And I get that. But in that moment,
Jalen Brunson has a skill of drawing fouls. It's different. I know we want to, it's hard to sit there and go, if it's him, it's a foul, and they're probably right. But there's a skill and an art to drawing fouls that it's annoying and it sucks and you hate to watch it, but it is a thing. As people who have ref basketball, we know drawing fouls is a skill. I saw the shot you're talking about. I would not have called it live. You can slow things down and look at it like we do with all, like we were just talking about hockey. You can look at all these different things and different angles. You go, but did he hit him? Yeah, like, did we miss it? Maybe. But again, the complaining about officials in the postseason bothers the hell out of me.
Yeah,
we gotta stop. We gotta stop with this bullshit. Like, there are so many plays to win games that it doesn't come down to that one little call that you may or may not have missed.
But it does when you haven't progressed mentally out of middle school mindset.
Yeah, true.
Right, as too many people in our society haven't. But yeah, I agree. I had no problem with the no call in that situation. Is it a foul by the letter of the law? Yeah. But again, a lot of things they let go in that game. And in the series, it's right on some level. It's the chaotic playoff basketball. There's 2 seconds left, whatever. So I don't buy the complaining that much from
it will go away. It will go away to the next week.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. The Patriots-Bucks series, Indiana's up 3-1. That series has lost a lot of its luster after we found out that Damian Lillard of Milwaukee has a torn left Achilles, which sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, not only is he done for the rest of the playoffs, but going to miss possibly all of next year. At least good news: Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Kobe Bryant have all come back from that injury and played well. So hopefully it's not like the last time we see Dame effective, but that with the Pacers up 3-1, it seems like that is inevitable.
He's 35 years old too, right?
Kobe was old when he tore his. Durant was old when he tore his.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's different now.
Yeah.
I have seen I think this has happened. This has happened a lot with NBA, just NBA in general, and we've talked about this with baseball. Um, Local blackouts. This is the postseason, and you can't watch a game if you live right now. If you live in Indianapolis, you cannot watch that Pacers game because it's on NBA TV. Is the channel it's airing on, but it's subject to local blackout. It's the same shit with
And
like
and
Masson.
there's no local station that's broadcasting the game. So why is because that's always the
Because
rationale
it's
for
the
the local
same.
blackout is that you can catch it on your local
It's the
cable
same
channel.
shit, but I think it might be the same shit as like Masson, where like I can't watch a Nats game because MLB TV blacks it out, but Masson doesn't exist on YouTube TV. So if you have a certain TV
So
provider,
there is a
you
local.
cannot watch the game.
There's a
I'm sure there's a local broadcast, but
but
you
this
can't
is the
watch the game.
playoffs, man. That's the most asinine thing I've heard in
Yeah,
a
there's
long
been
time. That's
this
more
happened to
ridiculous
someone.
than
This happened to someone in
complaining.
Cleveland too. This happened to someone in Cleveland too. They were complaining because they were like, I have NBA TV, I have this or whatever, and I can't watch a Cleveland playoff game.
Playoffs should be different.
Correct. That's a joke.
If you're gonna do it for a garbage, Pacers versus Hawks regular season game, fine, right? But just the playoffs, man. The playoffs is different. That should never happen. Moving on, the Celtics Magic series. Boston is up 3-1. They're the defending champs, as we know. They look poised to end that series quickly. They stumbled in that game 3 that they really shouldn't have lost. Boston shouldn't have lost that game 3, and they can't look like they rectified their mistake in game 4. I'd be a little surprised if that series isn't ended in 5. Uh, Again, the Magic, good team, nice players. Paolo Banchero, the Wagners, Cole Anthony, I think, is on that team. They got some nice guys, but that's the Boston's so good. Jason Tatum is phenomenal. I don't know if you've seen him lately too. He is a brick wall. Like, he was never like skinny, but he always had that basketball frame of like the lankiness and all that. Dude is a brick wall. He is an absolute beast. So yeah, wouldn't be shocked if that series ends sooner rather than later. Moving on to the Western Conference, the best series has been the Nuggets Clippers series. That's tied to a piece. Last game in Game 5, the Clippers erased a 22-point deficit and took their first lead of the game with a minute and 11 seconds left. But Aaron Gordon of Denver had a putback dunk off of Nikola Jokic's missed three-point attempt at the buzzer to give the Nuggets a 101-99 victory and even that series at 2 games apiece. I don't know if you saw that putback dunk. That was wild.
I saw it.
It was shades of is it Lorenzo Charles? Is that who it is for Valvano's NC State?
Yeah.
Against
Exactly
Houston.
what I was thinking.
It was incredible. Like, that was a really cool moment for everyone, and something I think this playoffs needed, by the way. And it's also one of those weird things with that dunk. They say, yes, he got it out of his hand, his fingertips off of it before the buzzer went off, but on some angles it looks like he didn't. It's just hard to tell. I think
If it's
it should
in
have
the
counted.
cylinder but also on his fingertips, does it count?
It has to be off of your hand. But okay. I think there are a few angles, though. It's like, okay, he did. I mean, it is so close. But what a wild game that was in Game 4. The Lakers Timberwolves series, Minnesota rallied to erase a 10-point deficit to start the fourth quarter thanks to 43 points. Yes, 43 points from Anthony Edwards. And Jaden McDaniels converted an and one with 39.1 seconds left to give the T-Wolves a 116-113 victory over the Lakers and a 3-1 series lead for Minnesota, which a lot of people I don't think saw coming out of that, especially with how the Lakers have been playing, as of late down the stretch after they got Luka. The fact that it's Doncic and LeBron, right, and the fact that Minnesota really didn't play that well this year compared to what they did last year. Underperformed, yes, they did. But
did you hear Anthony Edwards in his press conference talking about DiVincenzo?
I love me some.
What an ad for Minnesota, because what growth by Anthony Edwards. He's basically been saying, like, because like the numbers he's been putting up or whatever, and they asked him like what's happening out there, all this stuff, whatever, and he said this guy, to my right, Dante, is calling out every defense that's out there. He's like he's my eyes, basically. He's like he's letting me know exactly what defense they're doing, exactly how they're playing this situation, how they're playing that situation, whatever it is. And Anthony Edwards is just tearing people up.
Yeah.
So what an ad with
I
DiVincenzo.
love DiVincenzo. He's a high motor guy, high character guy, great 3-point shooter. He's made himself into a great 3-point shooter. Very good defender. Another one of those Villanova guys. It did that trade. It was the DiVincenzo and Julius Randle for Karl-Anthony Towns, essentially is what it was. Worked out better for the Knicks this year with Karl-Anthony Towns giving them that big man, because that was their weakest link, was having nothing from their big men. And it seemed that might have been a reason Denver struggled, is that they lost some of that. Julius Randle's not the same type of shooter that Karl-Anthony Towns provides. But maybe you're seeing the fruits of that trade right here with DiVincenzo. And again, Randle has played decently for them in the playoffs. But yeah, I really think you got to have DiVincenzo type of guys on your team.
I think DiVincenzo's helped Anthony Edwards. And I think you're seeing Anthony Edwards grow up, right? I mean, he's how old is he? He's probably like 23, 24 or something, right? I mean, he's real young. But I think you're seeing him grow up to be like, this guy wants to be a winner and wants to be the best of the best.
No,
right?
I mean, if we see them take out the Lakers here, it'll prove that what we saw last year is not an anomaly, that he has that killer instinct in him, and it's a matter of time before, they always say playoff Dame, right? For Damian Lillard, we get playoff Ant, right? For Anthony Edwards. The Rockets-Warriors series, Jimmy Butler came back from a pelvic injury to have 27 points and lead Golden State to a 109-106 victory over Houston in Game 4 to give the Warriors a 3-1 series lead. Brandon Podziemski from...
I have no fucking idea.
I'll give you a hint. It's where Steve Nash went.
Say that was Santa Clara?
Yes. Brandon Podziemski from Santa Clara.
What's their nickname?
The Broncos. Is that
interesting? I kind of like that.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
I was expecting some random ass one like the Banana Slugs or something, or like
I'm
the
pretty
Ant
sure
Eaters.
Santa Clara is the Broncos. But Podziemski had 26 points on 6 of 11 shooting from downtown for the Warriors. The Warriors are, again, I think we said this last week, our basketball expert, the great Doug Howard, when they did their playoff draft for WCME basketball. That was his first pick. Like we said before, it's a bad matchup for Houston. It's like not who you want to see. A young, inexperienced team going up against these dudes, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Steph Curry. It's just, hard to bet against them, even if they haven't, they're the 7th seed, didn't live up to what they normally are, but still they're champions, figure out ways to win. In that game, in Game 4, Golden State figured out a way to win. That was an excellent basketball game there. And Golden State is just they're so easy to watch because they play basketball. It's not just, hey, what's the most efficient way to score? So we'll isolate this guy, and everyone runs the other side of the court. And we'll watch this guy pound the ball on the ground for 5 dribbles and then throw up some contested shot. They play basketball and always have. And I think that's a big reason they've always been successful. It's not, yes, you have the brilliance of Steph Curry, who's the greatest shooter of all time. You had the brilliance of Klay Thompson, who's arguably the 2nd greatest shooter of all time, right? You had Durant, who's arguably a top 5 player ever, believe it or not. He's at least a top 10 player ever, right? So you had all these dudes, but at the core was that there's an unselfishness about the Warriors and what Steve Kerr and that organization is built, and that they play basketball. And it's hard to stop team basketball when it's played the right way. And I think that's a little bit of what you're seeing here in that Rockets Golden State series. Last one, the Thunder, they demolished the Grizzlies. They swept them 4-0. So the 2-1 season each conference, the Thunder and the Cavaliers both moved on in sweeps. So looking very much the part there. All right, moving on to our Mimosa Minute this week, which is brought to you as always by Maine & Co., the creators of the modern mimosa. Follow them on Instagram at maine.co, that's MAYNE.co, and visit them at mainsip.com to order your modern mimosas today. Maine & Co., championing women's athletics since 2020. And this week for our Mimosa Minute, we went with the Chevron Championship. It is the first major of the year for the LPGA Tour. If you missed it, wild. Some of the craziest stuff I've ever seen from a golf tournament, by the way, men's or women's. Just nuts. All right, so little recap, and this all starts on the 72nd hole, by the way, with the leader. So this is the last hole of everyone. So Arya Jutanagard completely duffed her greenside chip. She hit her approach on the par 5 18 right next to the grandstand, right? She gets low relief, right? She's up there. It's in a thick little rough there, but you just got to chip in onto the green, let it roll, fall down the hill. She straight up like misses the ball. Crazy, just straight duffs it. The ball moves like 3 inches, right? She's able to bogey that hole, even though, again, she's sitting there hitting her third shot, I think, is that chip, right? So she winds up bogeying it, right? And what that does is that creates a 5-way tie for first after all play is done between Jutanagarn, Mao Saigo, Hyoju Kim, Roning Yin, and Lindy Duncan. 5 people finished tied. So we have a 5-person playoff. That means all 5 of them are playing the 18th hole again at the same time, which is nuts, right? So on that first playoff hole, which is number 18, Roning Yin, who is the 2023 Women's PGA Championship winner, so she's got a major under her belt, and she's still very young, right? She just plants her second shot on that par 5, just clears the water, rolls it onto the green, is setting up for a very makeable eagle putt for the win, right? Instead, with that eagle putt, she ran that putt way past the hole. So her birdie putt is almost as long as her eagle putt. Then she comes coming back up the hill for birdie. It lips out, so she settles for par when she had an eagle to win. Then Jutanagarn, who exercised some demons, put her approach again up by the grandstand. She putts it this time because she got relief onto like the fringe there. Putts this, sets up a makeable birdie putt that lips out, so she settles for par. Jutanagarn, Saigo hit hers up against the grandstand. She gets relief, makes a fantastic chip, sets up for birdie distance, and buries it, right? And Saigo wins her first major of her career, her first LPGA Tour title ever. Just bonkers stuff. The things, if you were sitting on that 72nd hole on 18, the things you saw in like the span of 35, 40 minutes, just craziness. Again, some of the stuff I've never seen in any golf tournament.
Where was it?
The Woodlands, Texas. I believe it's a Jack Nicklaus course.
They play this or they're trying to make this every year. Last year last year we talked about the rookie who knocked it onto the green by bouncing it off of the Chevron sign in the middle of the pod.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so is
it in the Gulf or something if it's Chevron?
No, I thought it was outside
Austin?
of like Houston or Dallas. I thought it was outside of Houston. The Woodlands is where it is.
Yeah,
I don't know.
If it's outside of Houston, it's the Gulf.
The Woodlands is the name of the town or the city. It's called the Woodlands.
That's the name of the town.
Yes, the name of the town is the Woodlands, Texas.
Holy shit! I did not know that.
Know that?
No, I was like, the Woodlands. What?
Badass town name.
Suburb of Houston, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, just some wild and crazy stuff going on.
Woodlands, Texas.
So my takeaway from that,
suburb of Houston.
My takeaway from that was super exciting ending. But the second takeaway was Lexi Thompson. Are you or are you not retired?
That's what I thought too. She did.
This was her like 5th event this season.
Yeah.
We made a big thing. I remember like almost being moved to tears at Solheim Cup because everyone was chanting her name because everyone was like, wow, this is Lexi. And she obviously said, I'm going to be semi-retired. I'm not going to maintain a regular tour schedule. I'm not going to play every week. I'm going to play in the majors. I'm going to play in the women's majors, and that'll be it. Well, she's played in like 5 events since February. What are we doing?
Oh, you got to tune up. You got to grease the wheels there a little
Brett
bit.
Favre over here.
You know who had a heck of a wedding?
Brett
Favre. Says she's no good because she slept with this guy and that guy. But I'll tell you what, that experience is going to pay off for her later.
Just it's
Favre.
Yeah, I mean, good for her. I mean, golf is exciting when Lexi plays. She's not really putting up exciting numbers. I think she finished tied for 14th at Chevron, but her name stuck out to me, and I was like, wait a minute. This is not this is the first major for the women's this year, but this is not the first time I'm seeing Lexi Thompson this year.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Moving on to some soccer stuff or football, as our friends across the pond.
Soccer's fine.
And all the rest of the world says, and calcio in the mother tongue. With Wrexham's 3-0 triumph over Charlton, the small team in North Wales earned promotion for the 3rd straight year, becoming the first team in English football history to earn back-to-back promotions, which means the club owned by Ryan Reynolds and Mac from South Philly will play in the championship next year, which is the 2nd division of English football. So they are a step away from the highest level at this point, which is bonkers. And you can't say, oh, well, they bought it, all this stuff, because yes, they have, publicity and resources and stuff, but the amount of resources they have compared to the championship teams.
Yeah, we're talking about billionaire owners versus millionaires. Very different.
I think the one thing that worries the town of Wrexham and the team, and probably Mac and Deadpool, would have to be that they're growing too fast. Like that stadium, that concourse is not big enough for championship level soccer.
Yeah,
and they addressed it at like the beginning of this season, was like, that's one thing we're trying to work on, is like the size of our stadium without impacting like the history around it.
Size does matter, by the way.
When you get to European soccer, absolutely.
It's always European.
It's a big deal, but you're absolutely right. This isn't something that they've bought, right? They took this team from literally like a step above beer league to where they are now, and I think there's added pressure because of the Welcome to Wrexham docuseries that's on Hulu that I just love watching. And, it not only do fans in the town and like the fans of the club fall in love with these players, but it's now on a national scale where people that are a fan of the docuseries, it's an international scale, right? It's prestige worldwide scale.
Wow.
People are falling in love with these players and these coaches and these staffers, and they got to treat it like a business. And to their credit, they've had to make the hard, possibly unpopular moves, right? Like it's akin to the Patriots cutting Vince Wilfork, right? Like, do the fans like it? No, but as a business, does it make sense? Absolutely.
Yeah, I just bought my Wrexham jersey.
Oh yeah, who'd you get?
Just a plain red one.
69 Deadpool.
if
Matt
only.
From South Philly.
Yeah. Reggie Leach.
Yes.
Yeah, you should do that. Send Rob McElhenney a Reggie Leach. Get Reggie Leach on the back of the Wrexham.
He'd probably think that's
do you have a good relationship with your father?
Me either.
Me neither.
No, it's all all the kits on their site are half off right now. Just saying.
You gotta spend money to make money.
Go 2 sizes up because it's European fit. So
yes.
it's
yes.
You laugh. I ordered two
No,
sizes up.
I laugh
European
because it's
fit is
true.
not akin to American
The
portions.
plus-sized American male.
I am the average size American male, and I
They do not have big
like
and
the
tall in
largest
Europe.
size that they make. What a country! God bless America. With Liverpool's 5-1 trouncing of Tottenham, the Reds clinched their record-tying 20th top-flight title. Arne Slot became the first Dutch manager to win the Premier League, and this is Liverpool's second Premier League title in the last 5 years. But the other title they won came in 2020 during the pandemic with no fans in attendance. So this is the first title they've won with fans since 1990.
That
Virgil,
has to be so emotional.
crazy. Virgil van Dijk became the first non-British captain to lead Liverpool to a top-level league title as well. Yeah, crazy. Like you're hearing that, right? The first time to win in front of your fans in 35 years.
I mean, I could only imagine
Let's get the
just
riot
raw
punch
emotion.
out.
Yeah, I mean,
This for Philly would have burned the whole damn place down.
it'd be like, I mean, it's got to be the same as, like imagine if Derek Jeter's last season was a COVID season, or if like imagine if just any of your favorite sports teams like won their first title and you weren't able to go to a single game. I mean, that's I feel the weight of that. That's crazy.
Yeah, Arne Slot in his first year, not a lot of people thought because he's succeeding Jurgen Klopp, the great Jurgen Klopp. He
Mad
got
scientist.
the fans to chant Jurgen when they were like chanting Arnie's name. Pretty cool. Good for Liverpool.
Yeah.
There. Jules Koundé scored the game-winning goal in the 116th minute to give Barcelona a dramatic win over rivals Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey final 3-2. It was the first Clásico in a Copa final since 2011, and Barca earned their record 32nd Copa del Rey trophy. Do you know, Kamlo, the next closest team? I'll give you a hint. It's not Real Madrid in Copa del Rey championships. What at 24? What team is second to Barcelona's 32 Copa del Rey's?
I would guess like maybe like a Valencia or a Real Betis.
No, this blew my mind. Athletic Bilbao.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, that's staggering. Not even
Yes,
Atletico Madrid. Athletic
No,
Bilbao.
not
That's crazy.
Atletico, Sevilla, Valencia, Real Madrid's got 20. No, it's Athletic Bilbao with 24. They won last year, I believe, the
pretty
Copa
cool.
del Rey. But yeah,
For them.
Never would have guessed that. Last one here with Napoli's 2-0 win over Torino and Inter's 1-0 defeat at Roma. The Fighting Maradonas, which is Napoli, by the way, now lead the Nerazzurri, which is Inter, by the way, by 3 points, 74-71, with four fixtures remaining.
Blue.
Nerazzurri. The Black Blues. Black and Blues.
Black and blue. Okay.
That's how we
Trying to
leave
learn
you.
Italian.
Nero or Nera is black. Azzurri.
Azzurri is blue.
Azzurro is blue. So Azzurri is plural. So the Black Blues is essentially what it directly translates to. Yeah. Nerazzurri. If I'm saying that right.
You learn something new every day.
But yes, I bring that Serie A up because of the leagues. Really, that's the only one that's like tight in contention. Like Bayern Munich's probably going to clinch theirs this coming weekend. Liverpool clinched theirs. Barcelona's probably going to take theirs over Real Madrid. But that Serie A is tight. In the Serie A Champions League spots, really tight as well. There's like, I think 6 teams for 2 spots that are all tight together. So that good stuff there. Anything else before we get a little baseball stuff going?
Nope.
From the world of international football. That's going to bring us to our baseball segment, brought to you as always by Bobo's Fine Chicken in Virginia Beach. Visit them on Shore Drive near Chicks Beach for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Monday through Saturday for homemade sides and locally sourced chicken. Grab some on your way to the beach or a ball game. Bobo's and baseball, there ain't nothing better. First thing, Eugenio Suarez became the 19th player ever to hit 4 home runs in one game, doing so for the Diamondbacks in their 8-7 extra inning loss to the Braves
Yeah.
Saturday in Arizona. A couple cool parts. One, 19th player ever means it's rarer than a perfect game, which is nuts, right? Suarez's final homer came in the bottom of the ninth inning in a 3-2 count against Atlanta closer Raisel Iglesias to tie the game and send it into extras. Like, that's the most baller thing you could do. I'm coming up to bat, 3 home runs in. I gotta put another one over the fence to get us to tie the game, and he does it. It just sucks that they lost.
Yeah.
Just stings, right? The last player to have a 4 home run game was JD Martinez for these Diamondbacks against the Dodgers, but that was at Dodger Stadium in
I would
2017.
not have guessed it was JD Martinez.
I thought
Why
someone
do I
did it in
not
between
remem-
them. But
Why do I not remember? I remember Josh Hamilton's.
well, so the JD Martinez one I believe was late in the season in like September. The one I remember is Scooter Gennett, which I thought was
Scooter
after that, but
Gennett.
Scooter Gennett for the Reds in Great American
Yeah.
Small Park did that earlier that year in 2017. So 2017 had multiple guys at 4 home runs in a game, which
That's
is crazy. It's the third time ever that a team has had a player hit 4 homers in a game and lose.
Yeah, you
I'm
can't lose
shocked
that
it's
game.
happened 3 times. Right?
I agree with you. How the fuck do you lose that game?
Exactly. 4 home runs by one dude means the rest of your team literally did jack shit. But the Braves' Bob Horner did it in 1986, and of course you'll remember Philadelphia's Ed Delahanty did it in 1896.
Three Finger Brown.
Yes. Arizona manager Torey Lovello became the first manager to be at the helm for 2 4-homer games as he was Martinez's boss in 2017, which that is also wild.
That's crazy. Yeah, to see 2 out of 19. What's that percentage? It's pretty good.
To 10%.
That's pretty damn. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Elliot Ramos hit a walk-off home run that went about 5 feet. After his swinging bunt was fielded by pitcher Luke Jackson, who threw his throw to first base well wide, and Ramos advanced to third. Then first baseman Jake Berger picked the ball up from shallow right field and foul territory and airmailed his throw to third, and Ramos came all the way around to score as the Giants walked off the Rangers 3-2 on Sunday. It was the second straight walk-off win for San Francisco over Texas, and it's the first time the Giants have had back-to-back walk-offs since July 29th and 30th, 2023 versus the Red Sox. Down 6-0 Sunday, the Nats came back to defeat the Mets 8-7, rallying in the bottom of the ninth to walk it off on a throwing error by Pete Alonso. The Athletics from Sacramento this year, Luis Arias, I believe former Orioles great Luis Arias, hit a walk-off 2-run bomb in the bottom of the 10th to beat the White Sox 3-2 Sunday afternoon. It was Arias' second straight game with a homer in his first career walk-off round tripper. And then yesterday, which would have been Monday, Brandon Nimmo of the Mets tied a franchise record with 9 RBIs. Boy, who did he tie for the Mets franchise record with 9 RBIs in a game?
Please tell me
Keith
it's
Hernandez.
Keith Hernandez.
It is not Keith Hernandez, but
Darryl Strawberry.
This guy played the same position as Keith Hernandez.
First base.
Thank you. You don't know the first thing about first base.
Pete Alonso.
No.
I have no idea. I can't tell you.
Carlos Delgado versus the Yankees in 2008.
Why do I think about Carlos Delgado as like a corner outfielder? I know he's not, but
he's not. What are you?
I don't know. It's
stuff?
Yeah,
possibly K2
possibly.
Spice. Nimmo had these 9 RBIs.
Carlos Delgado always had the whenever a pitcher would throw one for a strike, it would get caught, and if he got caught looking, he would sit there, he'd watch it, and then he'd take a swing because he's like, yeah, that was a strike, and then he'd take a swing. Love Carlos Delgado.
Very underrated, by the way.
Yeah, God, that's a good one.
The Mets thrashed the Nats 19-5 on Monday. New York erupted for 16 runs from the 6th inning on, and Nimmo had all 9 of his RBIs in a 3-inning span from the 6th to the 8th inning. He became the 3rd player ever since RBIs became an official stat in 1920 to record 9+ RBIs in a 3-inning span, joining Sammy Sosa versus the Rockies in 2002 and Pudge Rodriguez versus the Mariners in 1999. And Nemo's the second player ever to have 9+ RBIs in the 6th inning or later joining Mike Moustakas in 2015. Yes. Oh, so I just had to give the names. The names in that Brandon Nimmo stat line are just impeccable. Anything else baseball-wise before we get to our favorites?
No.
So that's going to bring us to our favorite segment, which is brought to you as always by One Legacy Title and Escrow in Jacksonville, Florida. Follow them on Instagram at One Legacy Florida and visit them at onelegacyflorida.com to see how they can help you with your next house closing. One Legacy Title and Escrow, because your legacy matters. And this week we went with our favorite current second generation pro athlete. So basically this means that our favorite players right now who are active who had a parent be a professional athlete. So they're the second or third generation of professional athletes. Who would like to start?
I'll go.
Come on,
go. All right. So honorable mention. I'm letting you know right now. It steps outside of the parameters that you just laid out. But
Allegedly.
I need to. No, it's not alleged. I mean, you said parents and children and offspring, but I'm gonna go. They played in 2 separate eras. I'm going to go with Maurice Rocket Richard and his brother Henry Pocket Rocket Richard. Brothers, both Hall of Famers. They played in different eras of hockey. They combined for a total of 19 Stanley Cup championships. Pocket Rocket has 11, which is the most of any player. And they both of them played their entire careers with Montreal.
You know, you might know this already, Conlo. The Rocket Richard Trophy is given out to the person who scores the most goals each year, right?
Yep.
Did you know Maurice Rocket Richard never scored the most goals of anyone in any year? So he never would have won the trophy that's named after him.
Yeah, he was just I think he was the first guy to have 50 goals in 50 games, and he was also the first player to reach 500 goals or something like that.
And there's a whole riot because of him. If you don't know the Rocket Richard riot, look it up.
No, I can't say that I do. I'll have to check that one out.
This is an educational show. Look it up. I don't have time to go through it. But
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to nothing against the Rocket, but I wouldn't be opposed to naming it the Grade 8 trophy down the line here. But that's a conversation for a different day. So getting into the top,
that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, getting into the top 5, all of these will fall into your parent-children parameters. I went with for number 5. I went with Dell, Seth, and Steph Curry. I just think that it's iconic, right?
Dell Curry from
Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Take that, Tech. You passed on Steph Curry.
You literally told him you're not good enough.
Yeah, how about
Straight
that?
up told him that. The greatest shooter in the history of basketball. You're not good enough.
Now he's a threat to win as a play-in team, so that's hilarious. Number 4, I went with Bobby and Barry Bonds.
They're not current, Comlo.
It has to be current. No, I'm not doing
That's what I said.
No,
I'm not doing that.
I am not. I'm with you, Kamala. I'm not doing that. You did not say current. You just said, I like to look at that. You just said
Stevie, pull up the text. Stevie, pull up the text.
Your favorite second generation player. What? I have
favorite
to have all these
current second generation athletes. I
But
literally
none
looked
of
at
these-
it right now.
neither of us did that.
Can you see it on the camera? No, you can't.
No, obviously not.
Bullshit.
No,
So
that
what is
makes
neither
it
of us did that.
that makes it way more. That makes it way more boring.
I almost sent a clarification text to be like, by the way, no, because I would like to do a segment of just favorite second generation athletes in general because it's a whole other.
If I did favorite current, that would suck. We don't have the same ones. Nah, it sucks.
Oh my god, jabronis.
No, I think you're the jabroni.
This is why
you're the minority.
Don't run a company. They say don't be in charge of people. They say.
Well, you know,
here we are.
Yeah, here we are with an so my top 5 is gonna be way better than
attitude.
Yours
reflect leadership, Captain.
All right, so yeah, number 4, just to reiterate, Bobby and Barry Bonds, a father-son duo that needs no introduction. Number 3, I went with one that I don't think either of you would have ever considered. I went with
because it's probably not current, so I didn't consider it.
Well, I mean, yeah, for that reason, obviously, but
I have one of mine that's current.
Yeah, none of mine are current. None of mine.
You have Curry.
Oh yeah, I guess that counts a little bit. But the dad's not playing right now. He's not current.
He's not current.
So number 3, I went with Johan and Jordi Cruyff. We've talked about Johan Cruyff in the past when we talked. Yeah, total football. So massive impact on how an entire sport is played around the world and still practiced. Huge impact on an entire country's philosophy of coaching that sport. And Jordi Cruyff went on to further his father's legacy. Both of them played for the Netherlands national team, both very, very successful in their own rights and had successful club careers as well as international careers. So Johan and Jordi Cruyff in the 3-hole. Number 2, I went with Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr. I mean, how cool is it to wear your hat backwards?
Look at you now.
Yeah, look at me now. Thanks, Ken Griffey Jr. And then number 1, you want to talk about people that are just not active anymore.
This is like old Tom Morris and young Tom Morris.
It's Gordy, Mark, and Marty Howe. Gordy, Mark, and Marty Howe, Mr. Hockey and the kids, man. I mean, I don't think it gets better than that at all. Mr. Hockey and like the hockey youngsters. Yeah, give me Gordy, Mark, and Marty Howe in the 1-hole. Come on now, let's go. I also thought I had one that I thought was just gonna piss Nick off. And I excluded it because I didn't want to create a whole kerfuffle, but here we are minutes later. I was gonna put Ovechkin and his parents because
his mom was. Yeah, I almost put that for you.
She was an
professional athlete.
yeah, she was a professional athlete, not necessarily like same sport, same level, but
doesn't
here we
have
are.
to be same sport. That's actually current 2nd generation pro athletes.
It's so much more boring if it's not the same sport, though.
I know.
All right, so
Stevie, go ahead with your cool list before we have to listen to the lame list.
I know. Jeez, I'll give you another.
Brownies.
I mean, God, Nick. Great.
Just read.
All right. Anyway, here we go. I got 2 honorable mentions. I'm gonna start with Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
Whose father played in the NFL, and I believe his mom was a soccer player.
The whole family's just studs.
Yeah.
Aunts, uncles, brothers, that just
ridiculous. He's got to be on the list somewhere. Another one, as an honorable mention, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah.
The Intimidator.
No, that's his father.
His kid. Yeah, the Intimidator's kid. Junior.
Raise Hale, praise Dale.
Exactly. God gave us some great stuff.
Woo!
And number 5, Prince Fielder.
Go in a circle.
Cecil.
Yes. Both finished with the same exact number of career home runs, by the way.
Awesome. Absolutely love that. Number 4, Bobby Witt Jr., one of my favorite players currently. There you go. That falls into your current aspect.
What were you saying? I didn't hear you.
Bobby Witt Jr. Love Bobby Witt Jr. Need him to get me a hit tonight to continue my beat the streak.
There we go.
Hopefully he did that. I have no idea. I haven't watched. Number 3, I'm with you, Colin, with Ken Griffey Jr. How cool is it to wear your hat backwards?
Hell yeah.
He also hit a bomb off of the warehouse out there in Camden Yards.
Yep. Bobby Witt has a hit tonight, by the way.
Ever. Number 2, the son of West Virginia Hall of Famer. Nick, do you know where I'm going with this?
Kevin Pittsnogle?
No. Andrew Luck.
Oh, Andrew Luck. Yes, Oliver Luck. Kevin Pittsnogle's a real person.
Pittsnogle's awesome. Yeah, he's a real person.
And West Virginia Hall of Famer, I would hope.
Kevin Pittsnogle is
go-to?
How is it not? What
Whatever.
Who else
Pittsnuggle
would
is
you wanna
currently a
say?
principal in the Martinsburg area, I believe.
Wow.
But yeah, Andrew Luck, the son of West Virginia Hall of Famer Oliver Luck.
Yes.
Give me Pittsnuggle at plus 20,000 for that to be Stevie's pick. Jesus Christ.
And number 1, Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Not Eli.
Peyton?
Definitely not Eli.
Peyton.
It's Peyton.
All right.
Peyton.
So because I followed the rules that I sent to you, that's in writing that you can all check.
It's gonna suck.
By the
You're
way,
the minority.
my 2 honorable mentions. I have Cooper Kupp. You know, he's a 3rd-generation NFL player. His dad and his grandpa played in the NFL, which is kind of cool. Which also makes it crazy that he was that overlooked when he has that
Eastern
lineage.
Washington.
Yeah. But he's a 3rd-generation NFL player. Cooper Kupp, awesome. Other honorable mention is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Love his father. Like one of the most fun players to watch. The no batting gloves. Back when he had knees before the stupid Montreal stadium destroyed him. So electric out there. I'm sure still has a cane that could throw people out.
Hit a home run after it bounced.
Yes.
Or at least got a hit.
I got a hit. Yeah. Number 5 is Seth Jones, for currently defenseman for the Florida Panthers. His father is Popeye Jones, former Washington Wizards great. So his dad played basketball. Seth plays hockey now. I've always liked Seth Jones. I've always thought he's very underrated. He gets a bad rap, I feel like, because he's bounced from team to team. But on one level, that means someone always wants you. I've always liked Seth Jones' game. Number 4 is Jalen Brunson. His dad, Rick Brunson, played in the NBA. We talked about him earlier. His ability to score, not being the biggest, fastest, strongest, or quickest dude, is remarkable. He is arguably the best point guard in the NBA right now. Number 3 is Nelly Korda. Her dad won a tennis Grand Slam title in the early 90s, which is crazy. Her brother, Sebastian, has been a top 30 tennis player for the last several years. Obviously, her sister Jess is a professional golfer, but Nelly Korda sticks out there. Christian McCaffrey, like the boys said, what a stud family. McCaffrey is, yes, we hear all the stuff about Saquon, rightfully so, for the year Saquon had, but McCaffrey is still arguably the best running back in the NFL when you consider the full package. Yes, Saquon's a good receiver, but McCaffrey's an elite receiver. He could be a Pro Bowl wide receiver if McCaffrey wanted to.
Yes.
Right? He's that good at all facets of the game. And number 1, I went with the Kachucks, Matthew and Brady Kachuk. Their dad, Keith Kachuk, who, for the life of me, I don't understand why he's not in the Hall of Fame. Probably because he's American, to be honest with you.
I should have had a Kachuk.
I'm surprised you didn't, but Brady and Matthew, I lean towards liking Brady a little more than Matthew.
I actually go the opposite.
I like
the Florida
game.
Florida Panthers is Matthew, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I actually kind of like him more.
But yeah, lean more towards Brady. But the Kachucks, very fun to watch. Nice to see that. I mean, they're arguably better than their dad. And again, their dad, I think, should be in the Hall of Fame. He was a fantastic player, Keith Kachuk. So kudos to them. Good stuff there. Anything else before we move on to what to look for?
No.
So that's going to bring us to our final segment of the evening, what to look for. Basically, giving you some stuff to watch out for the next week in the sporting world. That's brought to you by VB Cookie Co. Looking for the perfect way to stand out at the next event you are hosting? Well, custom cookies are a timeless way to have everyone still buzzing even after they leave. Look no further for your cookie needs in VB Cookie Co. Follow them on Instagram at VB Cookie Co. and message them to order yours today. Whether it is a bridal shower, birthday, engagement, or baby shower, their team will work with you to make all your cookie dreams come true. VB Cookie Co. for the sweetest moments. And who would like to start? What are you watching for, Kamala?
Hockey playoffs. The first round is going to be wrapping up this week, I'd imagine. So by the time we come back and record next week, we'll be on to the second round, which is going to be super exciting. So I'll be watching for goals, heavy hits, wheels, snipes, sellies. And then I'll also be looking for the second episode of What Caught My Eye Hockey with me and Griswold.
Like that. Forecheck, backcheck, paycheck. Boy.
There you go. There you go, buddy.
Yeah, dump and chase. I'm watching NHL playoffs. That's all I've got for this. I'm not I love baseball for that first like month start. Love it. Like, let's get back into baseball, and then I go, you know what? Now we're in the thick of hockey playoffs. I'm locked in.
Yeah.
Hockey postseason, and then we'll get back to baseball later.
Yep.
So a couple stuff for us. The Kentucky Derby is this weekend, I
Oh,
believe.
good one. I am growing fresh mint in my herb garden. I made
Come on,
Herb.
No, it's quitting here.
I made some mint juleps for the first time this weekend to test them out for the Kentucky Derby.
Yep, that's
Fantastic, by the way. I've almost finished. I gotta get a new bottle of Woodford. Almost finished that, but yeah.
I can't hide money.
Come by and have some mint juleps.
There you go.
Kentucky Derby this weekend. Next week, the Italian Open starts. It's the last big clay court tune-up before the French Open. This is, I believe, a 1,000 level Masters event. So I think all the men and women, or for the most part, they're going to be there in Rome. And then last one here, Bayern Munich. They look to clinch the Bundesliga for a record-extending 33rd time if they can defeat RB Leipzig, or if Bayer Leverkusen loses at Freiburg. Harry Kane, though, for Munich won't be on the pitch as he accumulated his 5th yellow card in their last match, and he'll be serving a 1-game suspension for that. It's kind of odd, though. There's the curse of Harry Kane, or that follows him. He hasn't won a major trophy yet in his career. So he's looking to win his first one. That's one of the reasons he came to Bayern. And yet he won't be on the pitch for it. So interesting storyline there if they can clinch this weekend. Anything else before we wrap this debacle up?
No, wrap it
so
up.
that's going to do it
Wrap
for
it
us
up. I
here
gotta
at
take a
What
piss.
Caught My Eye, or WCME Sports. For the boy Stephen Vesci and the man Stephen Conlow, I am the coach, Nick Vesci. Reminder to check out our companion podcast. That is WCME Golf, WCME Hockey, WCME Soccer coming soon, and WCME Basketball. All can be found on our platforms, iHeart, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow us on all of our socials on X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, and Snapchat at WCME_sports. And all this info can be found on our website, WCMEsports.com. As always, be decent to each other. Have a good one, and we will see you next time. Take care, Guatemala.